Hi, everybody. So we're here today to learn the basics about the wildly popular social media platform, Instagram. According to Statista, over 2 billion people use Instagram, and most of them use it on a daily basis. The average time spent per day on the platform is 28 minutes. Did you know that Instagramming is now an official verb? With that in mind, I'm delighted to introduce our speaker for tonight, Emily Kripe. Emily is a recent graduate of Sonoma State University, where she earned her bachelor's degree in communications. Along with her job as a ranger at Safari West, where her coworkers are giraffes, rhinos, and flamingos, she's our AAUW California social media intern. Emily, thank you so much for speaking tonight, and let's go ahead and get started.
Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Kripe. As Lisa said, I'm the social media intern for AAUW California, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you. So tonight I'm going to be talking to you about just the basics of Instagram. I kind of broke it down to the bare bones. I've been using Instagram for about a decade now, so I'm explaining it in terms that make sense to me. Hopefully they make sense to you as well, and if they don't, the Q&A button is at the bottom, and we'll be stopping really frequently to answer questions. So first of all, why Instagram? So I'm assuming that most of you are relatively familiar with Facebook, or you were on Facebook and you kind of fell off of it, understandable. So Instagram is really similar to Facebook in a lot of ways, but on the next slide, I've got some key reasons why you should consider using it for your branch. So the main one is visibility. Instagram is a lot more visual based than Facebook is. I know on Facebook, you kind of get the picture and then you can write a really, really long description next to the picture. On Instagram, there's a character count for the captions. So it's a little bit more based on the photo that you're providing. And it kind of appeals a little bit more to the younger generation. So if we're looking to bring some more of the younger generations onto the AUW family, this is how we're going to be able to do it. So visibility, people will be searching for us. Instagram makes us easier to find, plain and simple. It's also a little bit more smartphone friendly. So if you use the desktop version, I will be going over some of the facets on both desktop and mobile, but there are some features that only work on the mobile version. Next up is reputation. Instagram allows you to really build a solid reputation. So it kind of lets people know that we're credible, real, transparent. We're an active online presence, and we remind people that we're accessible and open to conversation. It's a lot easier to interact with your followers on Instagram, in my opinion. Yeah, and it's, as I said, more visual based, which is very engaging and easier to process than longer written descriptions like on Facebook. And there's a lot more opportunities to share posts and interact with other people's posts that will, in the end, benefit your following. It's also a lot easier to direct people to our website through Instagram and promote our events. I'll get more into that later on with the stories. And yeah, it engages a younger generation than Facebook. I know a lot of people from my generation don't even have Facebook anymore. It's all about Instagram nowadays. So yeah. So next up, I'm going to be breaking down the homepage of Instagram. So when you have an account, I'll go over how to make an account next. But here, when you make an account, this is the page you see when you open Instagram. So this next slide is the desktop version of Instagram. And I've kind of circled and labeled everything like an anatomy model. So I hope this kind of helps you understand it a little bit better. So first off, on the left over here, I've got that chunky red arrow on the top. It says view the stories of people you follow. So I'm going to go over more of what a story is a little bit later, but just so you know what it looks like when I mention it later, all those circles along the top are Instagram stories. They're a different kind of post that you can make, and they just pop up for a couple seconds and then they disappear. Below that, I've got another chunky red arrow. It says posts from people you follow appear here. So here we've got a picture of a text conversation that someone posted that we follow on the AAUW California website or Instagram. So that's where all of your feed posts show up. You can scroll on this page and more of those feed posts will show up. You'll see all of them from your followers on that page. And then on the right-hand side of the page where I've got all of the thin arrows and the circles, starting from the left going to the right, we've got home. So that button will always be there no matter what page you're on, and it will always bring you back to this page. The next one is direct messages, which I will go over a little bit more towards the end, but that's how you find them, and that's an important one to remember for later so you know what I'm talking about when I refer to it. But that's how you see all of your past and present direct messages. The next one, the plus in the box, is really important, and I will refer back to it many times later. That's how you create a new post. So you press that and it'll take you to the page where you can create your own Instagram post. The next one is the search or discover page. I personally don't use this one very often, but I figured it would be good to mention it since it's there. That's how you can search for other people's Instagram pages. If you want to type in their name or if you know their handle, you can type it in there. The little heart next to it is your notifications. So this is where you'll be able to see who has liked, commented, shared your post, new followers, stuff like that. It's all going to be there. And the last one on the far right is your profile. So if you click on that circle, it takes you to your own Instagram profile and you can look at it, you can edit it from there. And I'll show you what that page looks like momentarily. So on the next slide, it's going to be the exact same thing, but the mobile phone version. So on your smartphone, if you have the Instagram app, this is what it'll look like. Really, really similar, except some of the stuff that's in the top right on the other page is going to be on the bottom when you're looking at it on a smartphone. So the home button, the search button, and your profile page are going to be all along that bottom row. And then your create a new post, your notifications, and your direct messages are going to be in the top right. Also on this page, it's a little different. It got cut off in my screenshot on the other page, but if you want to like, comment, or direct message a post, you can see where I circled the little comment button in the middle. It says comment on a post. To the left of that is the like button. To the right of that is how you send something via direct message. Which I will go over again later on. But yeah, so they're pretty similar. So if you're used to using the desktop version and you want to try the mobile version, I encourage you to do so because the desktop version is a little bit more limited, as you'll see later as we go on. So next I'm going to talk about how you set up an Instagram account. This is just me assuming that most of you don't already have one. If you do have one, I'm sorry, this is going to be very repetitive, but I hope that it helps some of you in some way. So this page that I've screenshotted, it's the same page twice. I just circled things different. So the one on the far right is the desktop version, and the one on the bottom left is the mobile version. They're pretty much the same though. So this is what you see immediately when you download the app or visit the page for the first time. It's going to prompt you to make an account. You can't use Instagram without an account, or you can use it very limited. I've never really tried. So from here, you'll start creating your account. You can either create it from scratch, which is on the far right screenshot. I've circled, I can barely see it, sorry. I circled like create an account. And then on the other one, the big blue bar, I circled that one with the red circle. That's how you create your account using a previous Facebook account. So if your branch has a Facebook account, you can link it to your Instagram. What this does is it links all of your passwords together so you don't have to create a new one. It's the same for both. It links your emails and you're able to post on both simultaneously. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I think that's a really cool feature and it will make it a little bit easier. So just a couple tips when you're filling out all of the information that it's going to ask you for. It's going to ask you for your name, your email, your phone number. I'd say if your branch has its own email address, I would put that one in. Unless you're okay with it being linked to your personal email. It's just in case like you ever leave the organization and your email's still attached to it. And I don't believe your phone number is required, but I did want to touch on the fact that doing this, like making an Instagram account, will not give you spam. I've never gotten spam emails from Instagram. I've never gotten spam phone calls. They ask for your email and your phone number for password recovery and fraud protection purposes. So if you ever forget your password, they'll be able to send you an email and you can reset it, or they'll be able to confirm your identity with you inserting your phone number. So that's what that is. I don't want anyone to be concerned that you're signing up to get scammed or anything. I promise you, you will not be receiving any spam from this. Let's see. Yeah, so next, personalizing your account. So after you create it, you have a completely blank slate. This is what it will look like. Clearly this account has already been created. It's just hard to get like a template that doesn't already have stuff on it. So this is the AAUW California page. As you can see, we already have a bunch of posts on there. Yours will just say no posts yet with like a little camera icon. And once you start posting things, that's where they'll appear, those little squares down there. So on the far right one with all the posts, you'll see I circled where it says edit profile. So this is where you can go if you ever want to change anything about your profile. When you first make an account, it will prompt you to insert all of these things already, but this is where you go if you ever want to change them. This is where you can put a link to the website or a link to anything else you'd like to put in there. So if you want to link the webinar coming up or something, you can put the link in your bio. So on the page on the right-hand side, or on the left-hand side, I'm sorry. If you can see the blue hyperlink down there, that's where your website will show up. So people can go to your page and find the website that you want them to see. Also for your bio, you kind of just explain what you're about. I believe ours just says empowering women in California. You can put any other information about your organization that you'd like. It's kind of just like a mission statement type thing. And as you can see, the screenshot that's on the right, there's a big column on the left of that screenshot. You can see there's a lot of other things you can change about your profile, but this is just bare bones. So if you ever want to explore those things, there's a lot of other things you can do to personalize your profile. Oh yeah, so sorry, I forgot about that. The last slide was the desktop version. This is what it looks like on your mobile phone. Pretty much the exact same thing. I just figured that I had it pretty split. Some people used it on their phone, some on their computer. So I figured I would show you both. Pretty much the same though. Okay, do we have any questions?
Yes, Emily, we do.
Okay.
The first question is, I've set up an account for my branch. I do not have a personal account. How do I set up a personal account and keep the two separate? I've received messages from people I know in the account for my branch. And then a secondary question from the same person. How do you change the email associated with an Instagram account? Can it be changed in the profile? I can repeat any of those.
I can see them on my screen too. Thank you for reading them though. So to answer the first question, you have an account for your branch, but you don't have a personal one. How do you set them up and keep them separate? This is kind of hard to answer without having it in front of me so I can show you. But it is possible. You would just have to log out of the branch account. And when you go to log back in or you get to the login page, it'll have a prompt at the bottom that says create an account. And you'll be able to easily switch between your personal and your branch account, and they won't be linked. Let's see here. And how do you change the email? So on that page I was just on where it said edit profile, you should be able to change the email in there. As I said, there was a bunch of other stuff you can change that I didn't go over. I believe there's a personal information section, and you'll be able to change the phone number and the email whenever you want. You just may have to verify both of those things. They'll send you like a verification email when you change it. Let's see, I have a personal account on the app on my phone. How can I then set up an account for my branch on the same app? Oh, okay, this is pretty much the same question from before, so pretty much the same answer. It's hard to tell you without being able to show you, but there is a way you would have to just log out of one of them and set up your branch account, and then you'll be able to switch between the two. Next one, is an Instagram supposed to be a safer account? If so, why connect it to our Facebook account? Instagram and Facebook are run by the same company. They're both run by Meta, which used to be just called Facebook. So essentially, they are both very safe. They do have the occasional data breach where you would have to change your password. Your email will be connected, and they'll tell you when maybe you should change your password because it may have gotten leaked. This happens really occasionally. There's not really very much personal information attached to your Instagram account. You don't even have to put your phone number if you don't want to. So Instagram is safe. Facebook is safe. There's just, there can be people trying to scam you on there. That's the only thing I would be afraid of personally. Connecting it to your Facebook account kind of just makes it easier because they both are very similar, and you can post to one and post to the other at the same time, and you only have to make one account. I hope that makes sense. I can read Instagram without having an account. Good to know. Is this available for someone to see a UW Instagram account without having their own account? This is an interesting question. I am not positive in my answer, but I am going to go ahead and guess that you can see the AUW Instagram account without having your own account. You just won't be able to interact with it at all, so you can't like anything or comment. Can I set up an Instagram account? Oh, where did it go? If I don't know my Facebook password. Yes. You wouldn't be able to link the two. So if you want to link your Facebook to your Instagram, I would find out your Facebook password. But if you're looking to just make an Instagram account, you don't have to connect it to your Facebook. So then you wouldn't have to know your Facebook password. If I'm no longer in charge of my branch's social media, how can I transfer the branch account to another member? So this is similar to one of the other questions I answered. You would want to change the email and the password. So you would go into your edit profile, and then there should be like personal information settings. And that's how you would work that transfer. If your branch doesn't have its own email, then you would link it to the person who's going to be running the account. You link it to their email, their phone number. But again, I implore you to use a universal email account if your branch has one. How are you able to include a link in the bio of your Instagram account so that each image is hyperlinked to a separate site? I've seen this done and used it on other accounts many times. So this is something that I've been discussing with the social media team. You've probably seen it before. It's called Linktree. It's a separate entity. It's a website where you have to create an account, and you can basically link a bunch of different links in one place. And you put that in your Instagram bio. When people click on it, they can see that you've linked about 5 links in one place. You can label them. So if you wanted to link the link for this webinar, the link to the AUW website, a link to a New York Times article you liked, you can put them all on a link tree. I won't go into depth about that one because that is a little bit beyond the basics, but that's probably what you're talking about. And I love Linktree. I just set up an IG professional account since I use my maiden name on my Facebook account. I did not connect to the Facebook account, only the phone. Sorry, I have to read that one again. Since I use my maiden. It should stay the same on your Instagram if you didn't change it on your Facebook. They're not linked to that directly. I hope that answers your question. I think that's what you meant. Can more than one person in the branch use the account on behalf of the branch, i.e. scholarship committee might post one sort of thing, program? Yes. So there's no limit to how many people can be logged into the Instagram at a given time. So like, for example, I am logged into the AUW California one. I think Nancy's probably logged into it too, and probably Sandy as well. So you can be logged into it at the same time as multiple other people. You can just leave it logged in, and you can switch between your personal one if you have one of those, or any other business one. And people can post even if someone else is also logged in at the same time.
Emily, maybe we want to move on, and we can save some of those questions for later, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good. All right.
We only have one question left.
I can just do that last one really quick. Professional account. So this is something you can also change in your settings. It's a little bit more of an advanced feature, but pretty much you can make your Instagram account label you. So on ours, I made it so that AUW California is labeled as a nonprofit. You can change it to where, like, you can change it to make it so you're an aquarium, or like just for fun or stuff like that, and it'll show you business insights. So it'll show you how much traffic your page is getting, like online traffic, stuff like that. All right, I am gonna move on now. Okay, so Instagram posts. So Instagram and Facebook posts are really similar. So if you've ever made a Facebook post, this will probably seem remotely familiar, just on a different platform. So what is an Instagram post? Also, to preface, graphics like the one in this example are not a requirement. You can post something with like just text on it, or you can post a picture that you found on the internet, or a picture of your branch together at a meeting. Literally anything goes. This is just an example, but I encourage you to explore using Canva to make graphics because they're really fun and eye-catching. So let's see here. Basically, an Instagram post is a photo accompanied by a caption. As you can see here, on the mobile version, it shows up as the photo and then the caption underneath. On the desktop version, it's the photo with the caption next to it. And pretty much the caption explains the significance of the photo, why you're posting it, and provides more details about the concept or event that you're posting about. Later on, I'll explain more about what hashtags are and why you should use them in the context of Instagram, but I'm just mentioning them now because hashtags are something you would put in the caption as well. I promise I'll explain more what a hashtag is and why you should use them, but that's where they go. And once you post something, people can like, comment, and share the post. These likes and comments will come from people you follow, as well as people who just stumbled upon the page on a whim. So it's important to make a variety of different kinds of posts, stuff that appeals to both demographics, because you never know who's going to see it. And Instagram posts can be whatever your branch needs them to be: informational, promotional, celebratory. Anything you want your audience to know, you can put it on Instagram and it will be heard. The only thing that's really different from Facebook here is that you can't put web links in the captions. You can only put them on stories, which I'll talk about more later, and you can only put them on your profile page. So you can't put links in the Instagram bio and have them actually take you to the website. They'll just show up as normal text. So making an Instagram post, it seems a little intimidating at first, but I promise once you've done it once, it just goes. So from the home page that I mentioned during the anatomy of Instagram slide, there was that plus sign in the square on the home page at the top. That is the create a post button. So you're going to click that and it will take you to this page that I've screenshotted here. This is the mobile version. I have the desktop version right next to the text, and then the mobile version is the one with the arrow. So once you click create a post, your camera roll will appear if you're on the app. If you're on the desktop version, it will prompt you to click and drag a photo from your desktop or from your files somewhere. So you'll be able to select the photo that you'd like to post from this page. So once you've selected the photo, then you hit the blue next in the top right corner, and it'll take you to this page. So this is where you'll be able to type out your caption, add your hashtags, tag people, and allow connected Facebook or Twitter accounts to post this post as well. As you can see at the bottom of the screenshot, it says share this post to Facebook. You just turn that little button on. It'll turn green, I think, and it will automatically, once you hit share, it will post that post to your Facebook as well. So that's a perk of having it connected to your Facebook. It'll all go to one place. Yeah. So another type of Instagram post is an Instagram story. If you've been using Instagram for a while, you may have seen this before and not really been sure what it was. I love Instagram stories. I'm a huge advocate for them, and I'm going to tell you why. So what is an Instagram story? They're really similar to a normal post, so it can be a little bit confusing where they cross over. Basically, stories are those circles at the top of your homepage that I pointed out to you on the anatomy of Instagram. They show up as someone's profile picture with a little circle around it. It's usually like red, ombre, purple, and they change it with like holidays and stuff. It's very cute. So if you click those circles, then a post will pop up on your screen and it will stay there for a couple seconds and then disappear. When you post a story, they last for 24 hours and they show up just like that little circle that I screenshotted down there. Yeah. So why should you be making a post on your story instead of a normal feed post? Again, they're really similar, so it's kind of hard, but basically your story, in my opinion, is a place for reminders, reposts, polls, promos, interactive graphics, and quick messages. So if you have something that you want to post over and over again, but you don't want it to clog up your Instagram feed, put it on your story. So for example, we have on the AUW California, we have a campaign going right now where we're posting graphics of all of the branch anniversaries. We could post those if we wanted to on our story because we had so many of them. Instead of them all showing up on our profile, they'd all be on our story. So they're not like clogging up the feed with the same picture over and over again. So that's kind of what that is used for, in my opinion. They're also a little bit more versatile and interactive than normal posts. They have a lot of little, they call them stickers. They have a lot of little stickers you can add to them. So you can put a countdown on there. So say we were promoting this webinar, you could post that what date and time it was and make the countdown till that date and time, and people can click on it and get a reminder. So there's really cool stuff like that on there that I love to use for my social media pages, and I think that they're a really great addition to a business account. And they also allow you to see who has viewed your post, unlike a normal feed post. So you can see everyone's Instagram handle who has clicked on your story and looked at it. So how do you make a story? Very similar to an Instagram post as well. So you click that same plus button in the square on the homepage that I told you about. And at first it'll take you to make a normal post, but as you can see where I put that first arrow with the circle in the middle, you're going to slide it over to say story. Also important to note, you cannot make a story post from a desktop Instagram page. You can only make them on the app. So it doesn't allow you to make story posts from a web browser. So next step from here, you can either snap a photo. Here I just put the phone up to my blanket so you wouldn't see anything, but normally it'll have your camera open. You can snap a photo, or you can choose a photo from your camera roll in the bottom left. And then it will take you to the next page. So if you are not looking to make an original post, you would like to add someone else's post to your story, you can do that. If you see someone's Instagram post in your feed, and you want to share it with your followers, there's not really a way to repost something on a normal feed post. So you want to add it to your story. So say I saw this, I'm in the Healdsburg branch, and I saw this post and I wanted to share it with everyone and let them know that my branch is 65 years old today. So you'd want to, my slide is gone, but, oh, there it is. Thank you. So I circled that little triangle down in the bottom. You're going to want to click that, and it'll take you to a page that I have screenshotted on the next slide, where you can actually share this post to your story, and people can click on it and it will take them to this original post so they can see it. So yeah, the one further to the left with the blue background, that's what that page will look like after you hit that triangle in the corner. I know I used a different post here, so it might be a little confusing, but that's what it looks like. And if someone clicks on that post on your story, it'll take them to that original post by AUW California. So yeah, you'll be prompted to add this post to your story. From this page, you can also direct message that post to other people. So it's saying like, I could have sent it to Sandy if I wanted to. So you pretty much just hit the arrow in the bottom right on that blue background screenshot, and it'll post it right to your story, and all your followers can see it. And it's very cool. I love this feature. Okay, do we have any other questions down here?
We have one from previously. It's from Kathleen Harper. And does there always have to be a picture, or can you just post text? If the latter, how is it different from Twitter?
This is a really good question. So there does always have to be a picture. It can be a picture with just text on it, but it has to be like a photo that you can put in as the graphic. You can't just post a caption, if that makes sense. So that is how it's different from Twitter. You can't just post text like you would on Twitter.
And that is all the questions we have at the moment.
Awesome. Okay, so this is a little bit less bare bones, but I figured that this would be a really good segue from stories. Instagram highlights are the same thing as Instagram stories. They just make it so that they last longer than 24 hours because, like I said, Instagram stories disappear after 24 hours and then they're just gone. You can't see them anymore. So highlights allow you to save them to your profile so they don't go away, pretty much. So highlights appear on your profile, just like in this screenshot here from the national page, as little circles, just like they do when you post the initial story. So these are pretty much kind of like folders for your stories. You can create different ones and file your stories away in the one that matches. So say you had a bunch of Instagram stories about AUW's mission, and you made an individual one for each facet of our mission, and you wanted people to be able to see them when you visit your profile. So you'd want to create a highlight called mission, and you can add all of your different stories that explain AUW's mission into that highlight, and it'll stay there on your profile forever until you delete it. Yeah. So how to use these? First of all, you have to have a story already posted. So you can't go back and add old stories to this highlight. There has to be a live story up on your profile, because then you go, oh, the arrow kind of goes over this button, but when you click on your own story, there will be 3 buttons in the bottom right corner. The middle one says highlights. You're going to click that one, and it will prompt you to create a new highlight. So on the next slide, I believe I have, yes, it'll prompt you to create a new highlight. You'll type in the name of it. You can also choose the cover photo for it right there in the circle. And once you hit the blue add button, it will add it to your profile and people will be able to come back and see it whenever. Okay, so a little bit unrelated to highlights are hashtags. So I talked about these earlier when I was talking about captions. So hashtags are something that you want to put in your Instagram caption. You can also put them as text on your story. They're basically hyperlinks, but they don't take you to a website. They take you to another Instagram page where everything is kind of filed. So yeah, they're essentially hyperlinks and they categorize posts. So they're usually found in the caption, like I demonstrated here from this AUW national post. And if you click on that hashtag, it'll take you to a page with every post that exists under that hashtag. So for example, if I wanted to find every single webinar post from this year, I would first want to put a hashtag on every webinar post that said something along the lines of AUW webinar 2022. So if I had every webinar post have that hashtag on it, if I clicked on that hashtag, it would take me to a page that had all of those posts in one place. So what this does for us, like why you should be using hashtags, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I have an entire slide on that. But I'll talk about that in just a second. So how to use them. So in the caption of your post, you're going to want to first type the pound symbol. And then with no space in between, you type the word or phrase you want to use. So here I use the example hashtag women's rights. So you're going to want to make sure there are no spaces or it won't work. You'll know that you did it right if the hashtag turns blue, just like a hyperlink to a website. Something to remember when you're doing these, some words can have double meanings, as we know, and there's a lot of internet trolls that can sometimes twist the meaning of certain words. So I would go to the search page and search the hashtag you want to use before you use it, just to make sure it's not linked to some other weird thing that you don't want AUW associated with. here we go. Why? Why should you use hashtags? So pretty much they increase engagement on posts. They make us more visible to people who don't know about us. So if we're using really common words as hashtags like women's rights or like abortion rights or stuff like that, wage gap, stuff like buzzwords pretty much. If we're using those as hashtags, people who look underneath that hashtag at other posts will see us on there and be able to say, oh, these people are pro women's rights. Let me check out their page. And that's kind of how we get more followers in that way. So hashtags are really useful for reaching people who otherwise would not find our page. And that's another reason I really like Instagram, because Facebook doesn't really have this super fleshed out like Instagram does. So next, just a quick brief thing about direct messaging. This is similar to Facebook, except you don't have to get a separate app like you do on Facebook. You know how you have Facebook and then you have Messenger. Direct messaging is all done through the same app. I believe you can also direct message on the website. So to find this feature, again, on the Anatomy of Instagram page, you're going to want to go to the speech bubble in the upper right-hand corner. You can also direct message someone or DM them by going to their profile, and there should be a message button on there. Yeah. So this is what the direct messaging page looks like. I believe this is a screenshot from the desktop version, but it looks the exact same on your mobile phone. So in the left column are all of your previous messages, and usually there will be a little blue circle next to the message if there's a new one that you haven't read yet. It will also tell people when you've read their message, and it'll tell you when you've read theirs. That didn't make sense. I'm sorry. And then if you want to send a new message, you can click that blue button right in the middle down there and type in the person's name that you would like to message. This is important to know about because one, this is how you connect with other people. People can ask you questions about your branch in here. People can ask you to repost their stuff. You can also ask other people to repost your stuff. So if you have a sister organization or a local org that you want to maybe collaborate with, this is how you would want to facilitate something like that if you didn't want to email or something like that. One more thing about direct messaging really quick. This is a key place where people will try to come in and scam you. So if you see a message from someone, you don't know them and they're like offering you money or something, or just being creepy, you can block them. Just be really wary of people offering you things through DMs. There are sketchy people on every social media website, so I just want to remind you that that is something that happens, especially in direct messaging. So just look out for that. But now it's your turn. I encourage all of you to try some of the things that maybe you had never heard of before. Don't be afraid to try it and fail. It's just social media, you know. I think there's a next slide. Oh, there's not. I thought there was. But basically, I challenge you all to go out and even if this is a little bit intimidating for you, I encourage you to just try it. It doesn't hurt to try. And thank you for listening. I appreciate all of you being here.
So do we have any final questions?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I see this one. It says, please explain link in bio. That seems redundant in a majority of most Instagram posts. Yeah, so you'll see that phrase a lot. The link is in my bio. So this means that to find the hyperlink for something that this post would be talking about, you would find it at their profile. So you'd want to click on this person's profile, and underneath the bio, which is where you can put like your mission statement, like I said earlier, that's where ours says empowering women in California. Right underneath that, you'll see a blue hyperlink. That is what they mean when they say link in bio. That's just, they're telling you where you can find the hyperlink to whatever it is they're wanting you to go and see, because you can't link things in your caption. I hope that makes sense. Next one is, so a hashtag would be like a keyword or phrase that might be used to search for the posts or similar ones. Yes, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly it. And how would someone stumble upon my profile? This is more so for the purposes of a business account. If you're looking to create a profile that's just your personal profile, usually it will ask you if you want to connect to your contacts. And so your contacts will get you suggested as someone they know, and like it'll be like, you should follow this person because you know them. So that's kind of how someone would stumble upon it. Also, hashtags encourage people to stumble upon more so a business profile. Yes, I hope that made sense. Is this recorded and can we watch it again? Yes and yes. And this is a bit off topic. I'm curious to know if you use email to be notified about events and such, or do you only use social media like Instagram? I'm assuming you do use email for your job, but I'm asking about your personal interests or groups. So I don't use Instagram as like a social notification type thing. Usually I will use email for events like that and such. I don't really know anyone who exclusively uses Instagram to be notified about events, but it is a really big way to get it out there, to get the word out there and such. Because I know some people, at least in my age bracket, who don't check their email ever, but they check their Instagram every 3 hours. So it's just another way to get the word out. I often see a link in an email, which turns out to be Instagram, which I can read. Is putting a link in an email communication a good way to, I think you mean, coax non-users to your posts since they would not see them otherwise? This is a good question. I would say linking an Instagram post isn't a super popular way to get them out there. But if they're non-users, I think they would still be able to click the link and see them. So that might be a good way to coax people into using them. Yeah, I would say yes. How and why would you use @ in Instagram? So the @ symbol, using it on Instagram, that pretty much is kind of like the pound symbol on a hashtag. So when you're using @ that's how you would type out someone's handle. So our handle is AUW California, or AUWCA. So if you typed @AAUWCA, it would turn blue like a hyperlink, and it would take you straight to someone's profile. So that's why you would use the @ symbol. Let's see. Did you weigh you can put a link on your story? Oh, yes. So that was a little bit more of an advanced maneuver, so I didn't show you how to do it, but you can put a link on your story, a website link. It's going to be under stickers, and when you're creating your story, there will be a square with a smiley face. That's where you find all the stickers, and there will be one that's labeled like website link. You click on it, you can type in the link, and it will link it on your story. Very useful. Expose non-user to Instagram. I'd say if you're using Facebook, I'm just assuming that maybe this person has a Facebook. I would encourage them as like a call to action to also check this out on their Instagram. But honestly, if they're resistant to it, I wouldn't push them. Instagram isn't for everyone. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming, and I understand that. And Facebook is just easier for some people. Let's see, can I find the recording on YouTube? Oh, Julika's typing an answer to that one. Last question from me. With Facebook, I choose who my posts go to by adding friends. Who do my Instagram posts go to? Okay, that's a good question. So if you're looking to make a personal profile, you can make your profile private. You can do this by hitting edit profile, and you should have privacy settings. You can make your profile private. So what that means is only your followers can see your content. When someone who doesn't follow you comes to your page, it'll say this profile is private, and they'll have to request to follow you, just like on Facebook. If your profile is not private, then anyone and everyone will be able to see your posts. You can block people just like you can on Facebook, though. So if you have people who you know you don't want on your page, you can block them. What are the privacy rules for using a picture of a public meeting on Instagram? Can I take a picture and use it? Honestly, that's not my area of expertise. I'd say make sure you get consent from everyone in the photo. But yeah, Instagram is a public domain. So if you're screenshotting things from Instagram and posting them, that is totally legal. I have used screenshots from Instagram in my school's newspaper, so I know that it's legal. I hope that answered your question. So if we put a branch of hashtags for groups that might be interested in AUW, is that sort of like spam? How is it different? So I wouldn't say hashtags are like spam at all. Hashtags kind of help you categorize your posts. And sometimes there will be spam posts in hashtags. So if you go to hashtag happy or something, there's going to be a whole slew of random stuff in there. But if you make your own hashtag for your own organization, it can be literally anything, like hashtag AUW California rules. And there will probably be no other posts under that hashtag except for the ones that you want there. So I wouldn't say this is spam at all, and it doesn't filter out any spam. I hope that makes sense. All right. I think that's it, unless anyone else is typing one up right now.